just by me doing that deal, that situation, and seeing a bigger vision, they didn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't understand like the opportunity killed over the shit anyway. Like, leave it alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep going. You
so
know
they
what I'm
almost
saying?
looking like, yo, you with the ops. No,
Yeah,
man.
that's exactly. Other side, over there, op ass nigga. All right, cool.
What's really going on with you and Moneybagg?
Moneybagg crossed the line, you know, it's forever, it's smoke for life. It did for 5 seconds, you can't never come back from, so, you know, it's smoke. It used to be Young Mom, and he did a song with dude to kill Young Mom, so, you know, it's forever. This something ain't gonna never stop.
I said, Black Youngster, Yo Gotti, Moneybagg.
I ain't finna sit over here and play with no do all this extra. Man, you that to know. I let you do that.
So it looks like Moneybagg Yo, the Memphis rapper who's been hitting it hard in the rap game with his street anthems and club bangers, might have crossed the wrong line with his own gang, and now he's facing serious backlash from his past.
What's really going on with you and Moneybagg?
Moneybagg crossed the line, you know, it's forever, it's smoke for life. He just did for 5 seconds, you can't never come back from, so, you know, it's smoke. It used to be Young Mom, and he did a song with dude to kill Young Mom, so, you know, it's forever. This something ain't gonna never stop.
Moneybagg has built a reputation for his authentic sound and raw storytelling, rising to be one of the most popular artists in the industry today. But even though his music has taken off and his success seems unstoppable, some fans are worried that his realness is under attack, and maybe even his life. Apparently, old ties from Moneybagg's past are coming back to haunt him, and the streets aren't playing around. His former crew is accusing him of being a sellout, saying that he switched up on them for fame and fortune. And while Moneybagg has tried to clear the air, claiming it's not what they think, it seems like they don't care about his explanation. They're reportedly out for blood and want him gone for good. So how did it all start? Let's break it down. Moneybagg Yo caught the attention of none other than Yo Gotti, the boss of CMG, Collective Music Group. Yo Gotti tried to sign him not once, but twice. By the third attempt, Moneybagg had already made a name for himself in the streets, and they built up enough trust that he finally signed on the dotted line.
But he had tried to like come my way like 2-3 times. I ain't just bite. And then like the third time, I felt like it was real sincere.
Yo Gotti put a $200K bag in Moneybagg's hands as part of the deal, and just like that, Moneybagg was on the path to stardom. Before that moment, life for Moneybagg wasn't easy. He was hustling hard, sleeping on cold floors and barely scraping by, but he kept grinding, and finally, his big break came. With the new money rolling in, Moneybagg started enjoying the high life. He even bought a white tiger, signaling that he was officially stepping into the upper ranks of the rap game. But while the money was great, the streets were watching, and they always come to collect what's owed. See, here's where things started going wrong. Moneybagg is from South Memphis, while Yo Gotti is from North Memphis, and that's a big deal in the streets. The north and south sides of Memphis have been beefing for a long time, and the city is known for its gang culture, with nearly every major gang having a presence. So when Moneybagg signed with Yo Gotti, someone from the north side, it was seen as a major violation of the unwritten street code.
You don't understand like the situation with Yo Gotti. Like, we don't even supposed to be doing it. He from North Memphis. You know what I'm saying? North side of Memphis. I'm from South Memphis. It's a hood in South Memphis. Walker Homes, we don't get along, period, with that side. You know what I'm saying? With his side.
Moneybagg took the risk, wanting to leave the street drama behind and secure a better life. But it wasn't long before the backlash started. After signing with CMG, Moneybagg found himself in the middle of beefs with people he didn't even know. Suddenly, guys who he had never met were coming for him, hating on him just because he made that move. One of the first major public conflicts happened with NBA Youngboy, who he had actually worked with in 2017. The two dropped a joint mixtape called Fed Baby, and at first it seemed like everything was cool. But out of nowhere, Youngboy started dissing Moneybagg online, not promoting the project and throwing shade.
Man, that tape, and I won't smoke. I ain't playing on my son.
Moneybagg, to his credit, kept it professional and didn't engage in the drama. Eventually, they reportedly squashed their beef behind the scenes. But that wasn't the end of his problems. Not long after that, another rapper, Rollo, who was signed to Gucci Mane's 1017 label, started taking shots at Moneybagg as well. Rollo wasn't just coming for Moneybagg either. He was also dissing Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta, who's another artist under CMG. In an interview with The Breakfast Club, Moneybagg explained where the situation seemed to stem from. Rollo, however, claimed Moneybagg got it all wrong, saying he wasn't trying to beef, but just wanted to connect with them for peace talks.
With Moneybagg Yo, before the incident happened with him and I actually was happy as fuck to go to the club to see him. I wanted to talk to the man. I ain't got no beef with nobody on CMG, dog. I don't even really want to deal with it. That's what I was coming to do.
Through it all, Moneybagg tried his best to keep his distance from the drama. With his star power rising and his shows bringing in $200K a night, he was basically an A-list rapper at this point. He made sure to stay out of Memphis as much as possible, only going back to take care of family. But even with all his success, his past wasn't done with him yet. The real trouble started when one of Moneybagg's old friends from the streets accused him of selling out. In 2020, things took a wild turn when a recording surfaced online of an inmate named Stupid Duke who went way back with Moneybagg Yo, calling him a sellout.
What's really going on with you and Moneybagg?
Moneybagg crossed the line, you know, it's forever, it's smoke for life.
Duke and Moneybagg grew up together and were both part of a crew called Young Mob before Moneybagg blew up. But according to Duke, once Moneybagg started getting fame and attention from the world, he switched up and left his day one homies behind. Instead of sticking with the people he grew up with, Duke said Moneybagg started rolling with the ops and left everyone else in the trenches. That's why Duke made it clear that Moneybagg can't ever come back to the city, and if he does, it's on sight.
Moneybagg, for his part, defended himself, saying his decision to sign with CMG and leave Memphis wasn't about betraying anyone. He explained that the issues between North and South Memphis were more about a rivalry, not any deep-seated beef. According to Moneybagg, no one from CMG ever disrespected or anyone from his old crew. It's just that the two sides had a history of not getting along. In his eyes, he wasn't jumping ship to break bread with people who hurt his people. He just saw an opportunity to escape the streets and took it.
Just by me doing that deal, that situation, and seeing a bigger vision, they didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't understand like the opportunity, you know, rather than get over this shit anyway, like leave it alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep going. You
So
know
they
what I'm saying?
almost like, yo, you with the ops. No,
Yeah,
man.
that's exactly. Other side, over their ass, op ass. All right, cool.
When he put it like that, it seemed pretty reasonable. But as it turns out, Moneybagg wasn't telling the whole truth. If we rewind back to 2010, there was a pretty big incident that involved Yo Gotti, CMG's boss. Gotti and two other men turned themselves in after being involved in a shooting outside Level 2 nightclub over Thanksgiving weekend. The whole thing started after an argument between Yo Gotti and another Memphis rapper, OG Boo Dirty, and it ended with 6 people getting shot. Now here's where things get interesting. OG Boo Dirty is from South Memphis, the same part of town as Moneybagg, and they grew up together. To make things even messier, OG Boo Dirty is also Stupid Duke's brother. So when Duke went off on Moneybagg, it wasn't just about Moneybagg leaving his crew behind for fame. It was personal. There was real bloodshed between the two sides, and Young Mob didn't mess with CMG at all. In fact, back in 2013, OG Boo Dirty dropped a diss track aimed at Yo Gotti called Get MG. If you watch the video, you can even see Moneybagg in the background, so he definitely knew there was tension between his hood and CMG long before he ever signed that deal. The beef wasn't just about a North versus South rivalry, there were deeper issues, and Moneybagg wasn't completely innocent in how it all went down. Once all this came out, more people from Moneybagg's hood started coming at him, calling him a sellout for leaving his old crew behind. Moneybagg wasn't one to stay quiet though. He dropped a track called Thinking Out Loud in 2020 where he addressed everything. On the track, he explained that he never had any bad intentions, and he wasn't trying to switch up on anyone. But he also made it clear that if his people felt some type of way about his moves, then so be it.
Hold up, washed up ass hating on me, guess I'm a threat. Bang, I come where you from, why you won't see me?
He even hinted that he had sent Stupid Duke some money before Duke started talking to the media, suggesting that Duke was only calling him out for clout. If things couldn't get more complicated, a man named HD White, who claims to be Moneybagg Yo's father, jumped into the drama, accusing the rapper of selling out as well. HD White posted an old picture of himself and Moneybagg back when they were hanging out with Moneybagg's old crew. The caption was pretty straightforward. Before the money, saying when everything was cool, now he don't know us no more. He followed it up with another post where he threw even more shade, saying, "Your people will watch you struggle. Go help somebody who would never help them if the shoe was on the other foot. Then they say you did wish me happy birthday. Fuck you and your birthday." This was a direct response to a line in one of Moneybag's songs where he raps, "My daddy called me on my birthday, didn't even tell me, he just asked me for some cake." It's also worth noting that HD White is a rapper too, but Moneybagg has never featured him on any tracks, and vice versa. From the outside, it does seem kind of messed up that Moneybagg made it big and left his day ones behind, especially his dad. But then again, we don't know the full story. Maybe there was tension in their relationship long before the fame. Or perhaps his old crew and even his own dad weren't supportive of his hustle. Maybe they were holding him back and cutting ties was the only way for him to succeed. Then when he blew up, they tried to get in on his success, and Moneybagg wasn't with it. For now, the drama between Moneybagg and his past has mostly stayed online. It hasn't escalated into anything serious, but in September 2020, it looked like things might have taken a dangerous turn. While standing outside the Aria Resort and Casino in Las Vegas after celebrating his birthday, shots were fired in his direction. One of his girlfriend's homegirls was grazed by a bullet during the incident.
Outside the Aria, police say a group of people near the valet got into an argument. At least one person fired some shots, maybe into the air. One woman, though, was injured. She was taken to the hospital, later sent home.
Moneybagg quickly denied being the target of the shooting, but the timing seemed a little too suspicious to just brush off. It's clear that as long as Moneybagg Yo stays out of Memphis and doesn't add fuel to the fire, there's not much his old crew or anyone else from his past can do to reach him. He's a big name in the rap game now, making serious money, and has enough resources to afford top-tier security. But despite all the fame and success, it's easy to forget that Moneybagg didn't have an easy road to get here. Demario Dwayne White Jr., better known as Moneybagg Yo, grew up in South Memphis, Tennessee, trying to make ends meet alongside his single mother and 2 siblings. Life wasn't easy. It was a daily grind just to survive. And like many kids in his situation, the temptation to hit the streets came early. By the time he was 14, the pull of street life started calling him. Skipping school and rolling dice under the bleachers became more appealing than sitting in class. He once said, "When I was in school, I skipped class, shot dice, you know, the typical hood-ish. I just didn't really go to school, stayed out, smoked, did all the ish I wasn't supposed to do." By 15, Moneybagg had fully jumped off the porch, meaning he was deep into street life. That same year, he dropped out of school entirely. It wasn't just the streets pulling him in. He also had his first child around that time, a little girl, which added another layer of pressure. It was a lot going on. "And I dropped out of school around that time too," he said in an interview. Even though he didn't finish high school, he had street smarts and knew how to hustle. South Memphis became his stomping ground, particularly around the block on Haravan, where he was heavily involved in street dealings and nearly lost his life more than once. Moneybagg has mentioned that there was a specific individual tied to an attempt on his life, a situation where a woman ended up with 2 gunshot wounds and had to be hospitalized, the same we talked about earlier. By this point, he was deep in the game, hustling hard to make it. But as fate would have it, something else began to creep into his mind. Despite being fully entrenched in street life, Moneybagg had always loved hip-hop. He grew up listening to legends like Boozy, Yo Gotti, Juvenile, and Future. So when he found himself surrounded by friends rapping and talking about making money, the idea of pursuing music seriously started to take shape. What started as a way to make some extra cash and escape the struggle became something bigger. He discovered a true passion for it. And just like that, Demario White Jr. became Moneybagg Yo. But even when you're chasing your dreams, the streets don't let go that easily. At one of his family's annual picnics on August 8th, his street life caught up with him in a way he couldn't ignore. An altercation led to someone firing shots in his direction, and while Moneybagg walked away unharmed, it was a wake-up call. His family was around, and it became clear that his 2 lives, family man and street hustler, were starting to collide. To make matters worse, after the shooting, he was arrested, bringing even more unwanted attention.
We had this picnic. We usually have it every year, August 8th, and I got shot at. And it was the worst thing she probably could have been through.
After getting back on his feet and refocusing on music, Moneybagg Yo dropped his first official single, F You Pay Me. In February 2011, the track had a solid vibe and started to create a buzz on the streets, but what really set Moneybagg apart from others in the game was his work ethic. Instead of blowing his cash on flashy things or gambling like some of his peers, he put every dollar he made back into his music. He was down to his last at times, but he kept investing in studio time, marketing, and anything that would push his music to the next level. By 2016, his efforts paid off in a major way. He dropped the mixtape Federal, and this release marked a turning point in his career. The tape was raw and unapologetic, as Moneybagg let everything he had been holding inside pour out through the music. It was released under his own label, Bread Gang, a name he got after hearing it in the lyrics of a Yo Gotti song. With the mixtape gaining traction, his buzz in the streets grew, and soon he started getting booked for shows. Moneybagg recalled how things started spreading beyond Memphis, saying, "Then I started getting booked, like Chicago and stuff. Indianapolis, it just started spreading." After earning his first $2,500 from a gig, Moneybagg locked in with a deeper level of dedication, determined to elevate his hustle and career. However, balancing both legal and illegal paths proved to be a tough challenge. In March 2016, while celebrating the release of a new CD at the Maserati Club in Mason, Tennessee, things took a turn for the worse. The police raided the event, confiscating 10 loaded guns, a bulletproof vest, and cash. Moneybagg, along with 28 others, was arrested and charged with possession of controlled substances and gun violations.
The Maserati Club,
a lifestyle of crime that deputies say led to 28 people being locked up on Sunday after law enforcement barged into Club Maserati off of Highway 70.
The authorities claimed that many of the people at the party were linked to gangs like the Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples, Bloods, and Crips. Although Moneybagg managed to bond out, the trouble kept coming his way. On top of his legal battles, tragedy struck when his close friend Elo was between 2015 and 2016. Losing Elo hit Moneybagg hard. This was his day one homie, someone who had been by his side before the fame and success. To honor Elo's memory, Moneybagg got a tattoo of his name next to his eye and released a mixtape titled Elo, Everybody Lives On, keeping his friend's legacy alive through his music. Despite the pain of losing both his day one friends, Moneybagg used the grief as fuel to push himself even harder toward his dreams, not just for himself but for his family and fallen friends. In a twist of fate, the success of the ELO mixtape turned into a blessing in disguise. He signed a deal with Endless Entertainment, and shortly after, he dropped another mixtape called All Gas No Brakes. It was like everything was finally falling into place. The release caught the attention of Yo Gotti, and soon after, the two would connect. The rest, as they say, is history. Signing with Yo Gotti's CMG label took Moneybagg's career to new heights. Even though things seemed to calm down for a while after the drama with his old crew, tension was still in the air. In April 2021, things seemed like they might escalate again when Stupid Duke, his former homie from the Young Mob days, got released from prison. Fans were worried that the old beef between Moneybagg and his crew might reignite. Fortunately, as of today, nothing major has happened, and fans are hoping it stays that way, with Moneybagg continuing to thrive in his music career rather than being pulled back into the streets.